as we settle in for the next 40 minutes. Izzy had asked me this morning if she could do something, and naturally, whenever my mind goes this way, the last thing that someone asks me is the first thing that gets forgotten. So, I said, sure, we can do that because it fits right in with our welcoming theme and our hospitality and all that. And so she said, okay, that'd be great. I said, you want to come up here with me? She said, no. Do you want a microphone? She said, no. But she does have something she'd like to say.
Hey, everybody, I'm doing well after my surgery, so we're working on that. But I could not believe the the nice cards. I had 61 cards, man. That's great. I know, it's got to be a record. But I just want to say thank you. I love you all and appreciate you. My church friends.
Oh, we love you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
So this morning, we're going to continue from last week because we're still in the parables. Jesus is in full teaching mode right now, and we call this that he is teaching, preaching. He's gathered at different places. If you read this in Luke where he's at, that he just moves from place to place, and then all of a sudden, one minute he's addressing the disciples, the next minute he's addressing the crowd. And where we're at this morning, there were some people that was gathered there, and he seemed to have just left a group of sinners and tax collectors and other people that seemed to draw attention. And so now he's getting a little bit of chastisement from the people that are there about verses 1 through 3 of the Luke text about, why are you doing that? Why are you sitting with them? And so instead of giving them an answer, he tells them this story, this parable. But before he gets this one, we jump from 1 through 3 and then 11b. What's going on in 4 through 11 is the parable of the lost sheep and the parable of the lost coin. And so he's talking about items that were lost and now have been found. The lectionary omits them, but we tend to go back and pick them up a little bit because they're things of value. The sheep has a certain amount of value, and the coin has a certain more value, and the son has, well, the point we pick it up in the story, the son doesn't have much value at all. But we think about it. It's the parable of the prodigal son is one that everybody knows. Everybody's heard it. Everybody has had it. Who has never heard this scripture preached on? Yeah, that's what I thought. And so as I open my mouth, you're probably wondering what is going to be said new today that I haven't heard before, and the answer is probably nothing. But see, that's the glory about this type of scripture. Everybody knows it, and everybody knows what to expect, so therefore you know that you don't really have to say anything new because I can't rewrite it. It is what it is. But it's kind of like, that if I did decide to take it a different direction, one of the commentators that I was reading on the scripture, trying to get a fresh idea on it, he said it's probably a whole lot like your grandma's chocolate chip cookie recipe. That, that it's best if you just follow it. Because the first time you decide to put a little bit of dash of cinnamon in it to make it better, or some white chocolate chips to replace the chocolate chips, somebody's going to say to you, it's not the same. There's something that's not quite right about this. So I'm not going to mess with the text a little bit, other than I'm going to let it stand what it is. Jesus is this great storyteller. He just takes us right to the heart of it and immediately, and there's not a whole lot else that you could say about it. There was a man that had 2 sons. Wouldn't it have been a better story if he had one? That's the first thing I thought of. This is a whole much greater story if the man doesn't have 2 sons, he's got 1 son. Because now when he loses the 1 son, when the 1 son disowns the father and moves away, then we have to really, really wonder, he's got everything to lose right here in the son, but now that we know that he's got 2 sons, he's an ingrate anyway, right? What difference does it make? Asking for the inheritance. This is what was so neat about this text. That in about 3 sentences, it tells us that there was a son, a man had two sons, and the son came to him, wanted his inheritance. And it says in 3 sentences, he gathered, he traveled, he squandered. That's it. And then he was repentant, came home, and was blessed by his father, who threw the robe on him, got the fatted calf, and celebrated the return and welcomed him with unlimited and an extravagant grace. And that's the gist of our story this morning. And that's it. Except those other 7 verses that we got to get to about this elder son. Because the parable of the prodigal son is 11 through 32. And if we could stop at 25, it's just such a marvelous story. But we got to go from 25 to 32, which tells us about a son that's not real happy. A son that doesn't see things quite the way that his father does. A son who has very little mercy in his heart for a son that wants to live such a life and chose for himself, you made your bed, go lay in it. Don't come home. Don't come home. I don't want you. And the father of yours that does want you, well, as soon as I get done talking to him, he's not going to want you anyway. I'm going to do my best to make sure that he understands my point of view. It's a tough one. Sibling rivalry is kind of the angle, the tangent that I'm going to look at this morning, because the rest of the story is about unmerited grace, extravagant grace, welcomed home by the Father. Couldn't be any better, except we've got this person who doesn't want him. He doesn't even think of him much as a brother anymore. Kind of interesting, the language that he uses. Because we're told immediately that the servant sees the brother coming home from a long way off and goes and the oldest son says, "What's going on here?" And the servant says, "Your brother's come back." And the next conversation is with his dad, and he says, "This son of yours, not my brother." And again, the father reminds him that your brother did this or your brother did that. But to the youngest son, no. To the oldest son, this is your son. He's not my brother. He is not my brother. I know that the serpent has tried to convince me of that, and you have used that same language, but to me, this guy's gone. I don't want him. We get back to the story about in the Bible that Jesus had to draw upon a lot of images because he knew the Hebrew Scriptures forwards and backwards. The story of Cain and Abel, the first sibling rivalry, that didn't end well. And I bet you that you could think of a whole bunch of other children in the Bible, brothers and sisters, brothers together and sisters together, or brother and sister together, that didn't quite get along. Who was the second group that didn't do so well? Yeah, exactly. So we have Jacob and Esau. What about women? 2 sisters? Mary and Martha. Exactly. Come on, Jesus, tell her to get off and get in here and help me.
Yeah.
Rock is what I was looking for. Get off the rock and come in here. Stay with me. What did Jesus have to say about, or what does the Bible tell us about sibling rivalry and our brothers, so that we don't have to look very far? And Jesus knew this very well too. Jesus knew the psychology of people. This is why he can say more in 3 sentences than we can say in a book. Which is really interesting. Because he knows the mind. He knows the psychology of people. He knows what makes people tick. He knows what stirs up inside each one of us in the relationships that we have that really kind of hit us and kind of knife us a little bit, that kind of stick real hard that we don't like. And this is one of those stories. This is one of those stories that we wish that it wasn't exactly the way that it was. We want it to end at 25, but it goes on to 32. And so we have to say, well, what's this speaking to us? What's this, what's the trouble that's going on in the world with us? And the problem is that we've got a whole lot of things going on with us. That because we have this circle, you see? We have a circle, and that's us. That's who we are. And then outside the circle is you. And you're not part of my circle. And you get to be the one that defines your circle, whatever that is. Most of us aren't like circles, though. We're not perfectly round that way. Most of us look more like amoebas. You know what they look like? Yeah, amoebas, what happens is that when they want to include something else in their circle, they just kind of push out a little bit here and draw in a little bit here so we don't look like this, and we're not perfectly shaped. But we define ourselves. That circle of trust is who we consider to be us, and it usually has to do with the people that we trust. And we start small when we're little, and then we kind of just add to that. You know what your circle is yourself. This is the point that I'm trying to make. It's everything that makes you, you. It's everything that made the prodigal son. Whatever makes us, us. And it's this. It's not just, usually it's your family, my family, it's my wife, my spouse, it's my kids. But in modern days, it's my car. It's my house, it's my land, it's my flag, it's the radio station that I listen to. You see, it's everything that makes me is my circle, and whatever is outside that circle is you. And sometimes I don't want you into my circle. I may include you, but mostly not. And see, this is the problem of sibling rivalry, because, that once the son left, he was dead. He was outside the older son's circle. And so once you're gone, it's hard to get back into that circle. It's bad. I bumped into a couple in the grocery store last night that's no longer part of our circle. And I asked them as they went by, I said, are you doing okay? Yes. Did you find another church home? Yes. Was it something that we did? Something that I did? That caused you to leave? No, it was just time we moved on. You believe that?
No.
Not for a second. Not for a second. There's something going on. And wouldn't you like to know what it is? I hope so. I hope so. Because if you don't, then that person is you, outside the circle. We don't care about that, because, and here's the main point we're trying to make about this, is that, see, this is all from a psychological basis, which Jesus knew our heart. Jesus looks at our heart. He knows what we're thinking. We can say one thing, but he knows right here. So what we're trying to say is humankind, bring it up, Dee. Humankind ceases at the border of tribe. Say, substitute family for tribe. What we consider to be family is that which we consider psychologically to be human. Here's an example. Think about, just imagine that you're going out to dinner. And you're going out to dinner with a group of friends, and the reason that you're going to this particular place is because one of your group of friends has a daughter or a son that just got a job right there as a waiter or waitress at the restaurant, and you're going there and it is busier than whodunit, and he or she is terribly behind, and by the time she gets to you and gets to time to attend to you, she's so stressed out because she's behind, because others want her attention, and you say to her, because she's inside your circle, wait on everybody else. We're not in that big of a hurry. Anybody ever done that? Yeah, it's okay. Get to the other people first. Now imagine you go back to that same restaurant with the same group of people and you don't know the waitress. And you get the same service. Is that what you're going to say? You don't have to answer. Because they fade into the background. They become backdrop material. The server is not part of your humanness around you. And I'm hoping this has made sense, because I'm not saying that humankind's drop off the face of the earth. What I'm saying is we don't look at them the same. We don't look at them the same. And we objectify people. And this is exactly what the Son does, because Jesus' words about this parable is so specific. He wants to make sure that this person is the other. He eats with pigs. Our people don't eat with pigs. And they certainly don't touch them. They don't have anything to do with that. He is so far outside of the family that there's no way that he'll ever get back within the family. Which is sad. Because the Father says it don't matter. But the players say it matters a great deal. Matters a great deal. The fatted cow in this parable. We can think, I got a deer more going on in mine because I played Tony Orlando and done something that they tied up ribbon, you know. Yeah, now you got it. Because you're thinking about it right now. You know, it's been 3 years and he's in prison and he wants to know, is he still welcome home? And if I am, let me know. The robe. It's the yellow ribbon. It's the symbol that says you're reconciled. Forgiveness has taken place. Yellow ribbons on. And so we think about that Jesus here changes the boundaries of that which is acceptable and what is not acceptable. He changes the boundaries of who's in and who's out. Many of us went to see the movie the other night, Risen, and we watched that final scene after the resurrection where Jesus touches the leper, makes him clean. And we say to ourselves, wow, I don't know if I could have done that or not. Because we probably couldn't. Because that's so far outside the circle. And if you're one of the disciples who have witnessed this, and they said, watch, you'll see. But the first time you did it, they probably didn't say, watch and see. They were probably telling him, don't touch him. We know that you got miraculous power. We know that you can do whatever you want to. Stand over here and heal him before he gets over here. But don't touch him. And Jesus comes and takes his hands and puts it upon him and touches him and looks at him and restores his humanness more than anything else. He brings him back in the circle. So this is what we're called to do. So we've got this yellow ribbon here. We don't have any fatted calves, or else I'd give each one of you one of those. But sometime during the service, I am going to hand you a yellow ribbon. The idea is, who are you going to tie this around? Who are you going to welcome back into your group? Who's on the outside of your small family? Who do you let what defines you? Your car, your house, your clothes, your family, your kids, your whatever. Who are you going to let define you that's going to keep someone else from being part of that? Who are you afraid to let in? Because Jesus wasn't afraid to let anybody in. And even if they left, welcome home. Welcome home. As we approach Easter and think about this right here, and the fact that we are called to emulate Christ. Forgiving, reconciling, breaking chains, bringing people back in. There should be nobody that we can say, you deserve to stay out there. Whatever they've done. You deserve to stay out there. We should be saying, come on in, welcome back. I'll get out the fatted calf and the robe. Thanks be to God.